All right, how do you stop overeating? Okay, so here we are, we're starting to slowly come out of like Coronaville, and maybe you've spent too much time on your couch doing a little Netflixing and chilling, baking some banana bread, some sourdough bread, some chocolate chip cookies, and you're like, I'll get to it when Rona is over. Well, we're starting to get out of our houses, and you're like, damn, it's time for me to get my groove back. I gotta stop eating like a wildebeest. So if that's you, okay, keep listening. All right, it's about being more, I got 3 tips for you. 3 tips. First, it's about being more mindful about our food. We as a society have been like so inundated with food cues that we've lost the track of how do we know when we're hungry. Right? And in order for me to get my groove back, I gotta be about Kim, right? It's gotta be the Kim show. It can't be me driving down any town, any street, in any town, the world, and there's a Starbucks, and there's a place for pizza, and there's a place for subs, and there's a place, every 10 feet, there's a place for me to find something to eat. And it's like, all of a sudden, I wasn't thinking about food, but now I'm like, there's food. Or maybe I'm driving down the street and you get your windows open, and let me tell you, when you smell those McDonald's French fries, you're like, damn, could they be that bad? I think I might want me a McDonald's French fry, right? We've all had those thoughts in our head. So how do we stop them? The first thing is, well, we can't. So now we have to start to be more, we have to take control. And first we have to start being more mindful about what we eat, more mindful about what we put into our bodies. So the first place I always say is, instead of just like, eating and scrolling through your phone or watching TV or, reading, sit down and focus what's on my plate. Zone in on what exactly am I eating and start to like take it in, and appreciate the crunch of the cucumber if you're eating a salad. Appreciate, the juiciness of whatever you're eating, but start to be more appreciative and more mindful of what you are actually taking in, because it takes about 20-ish minutes for the signal to go from my tummy to my head saying, hey girl, we're eating and we're full and we're satisfied, because so many times we let our eyes just override, and we want to feel that fullness in our stomach, and that's what's going to tell us that we're actually eating versus just actually like sitting there and having the cues. It could be taking a few bites, putting down your utensils, savoring it. It could be, having meaningful conversation with the person that you're having dinner with or lunch with. I know so many times I'll go to dinner with friends and we're starving, and then all of a sudden like the food comes and conversation is like, we're all mute. No one's talking because we're all like trying to get the food in our face as fast as we possibly can. I've told this story and I'm going to tell it to you. When I was taking my mindfulness program, we had to eat a Hershey Kiss. And we had to eat the Hershey Kiss, and it was, Hershey Kiss this big. And we put it in our mouth, and we had to like let it sit there. Most of us throw a Hershey Kiss in our mouth, and we just chomp away, and then we eat and then we eat 20 of them. It was like sitting there and just really savoring it, melting on our mouth, feeling with the chocolate. Was it good chocolate? Was it bad chocolate? It was all of that. So I want you to think about, can you savor the food that you eat? The next piece is like, we need to define hunger versus appetite. Hunger is, I am hungry. I need to eat. Appetite is, I should eat or I could eat, right? And so it's so many times that we just fall into, I could eat, and not even cued into if we are hungry or not. So I know that it takes practice and it's an experiment to start to find the line between hunger. So I define the line between hunger. So if at 1, you pretty much can go cannibal, like you're just starving. And 10 is like you're unbuttoning your pants and you're just like, letting it all hang out. So I want you to start practicing getting between a 5 and a 7, where it's like, you know what? I can eat, but I'm not starving, and I can make good choices. And between 5 and 7, that's where like, is like my happy place, if you will. Okay, so think about that, because a lot of times our food is triggered by our thoughts. Maybe you're an emotional eater, maybe you're a stress eater, maybe you're procrastinating, those kind of things. We've been cooped up in our houses, so it's really easy for you to be like, I'm bored, I'm gonna make some cookies. Or maybe your kids are like, I'm bored, and you're like, cookies, that always keeps them busy, right? So it's for us to kind of start to like rewire ourselves, like get our groove out of this is what I normally do, and change the dial, change the radio station. And figuring out this takes practice, right? I know that we all want to like wake up and just nail it, but we're not. I want to be honest with you, but it takes practice, and we're gonna, put on a couple of pair of pants, try them on, and they might not all fit, but one day we're gonna put on a pair and we're like, this is what I need to do when I'm starting to feel snacky, when I'm starting to like find myself in that emotional place, that boredom place. This is what I'm gonna do instead. The last piece of it is we need to start learning to eat until we're satisfied. So many times we eat until we're like, ugh, right? Think about Thanksgiving. I know around Thanksgiving, everyone is always like, oh my God, I cannot wait to eat my face off. And it becomes more about the food than being with my family, being thankful for all the things I've had over the course of the year. It's like, how much can I stuff in my gullet? And then a lot of holidays are around that, like how much can I eat, or I can't think about dieting because it's the summer and I really want to like have all the ice cream and all the fried clams and all the where if we just started to say, I'm going to have my food, I'm going to savor it, I'm going to eat when I'm hungry, and I'm not going to eat until I'm stuffed like a beach whale laying on the sand. I am going to eat until I'm between a 5 and a 7 on the hunger scale. And one of the best ways I've always said this is like, maybe you're in a situation where you're not really hungry and you're out to dinner with friends, family, so forth. Order a salad, order an appetizer, or maybe you order the full entree and you ask that they keep half in the back, could you cut it in half and put the other half in it to go? And that way, like, you are like, you know what? I'm gonna eat this half, and if I finish this half and I'm still hungry, I can go after the next half, or I can eat it later. Where, I want you to start thinking that food isn't this like, this finite thing, right? Here in America, it's really hard to go hungry. So I want you to think about not always having to like eat all the food, finish your plate. I know that's something that we've, been taught, and we've grown up with, like, clean your plate, you're not gonna leave this table till you clean your plate. So I wanna start to kind of break those habits and, start to listen to your stomachs. Don't wait until you're absolutely starving. Eliminate the distractions when you're eating. You can always have the leftovers, right? And be more mindful about what you're eating. So I'd love to hear how this is landing with you. These tips are, like I said, it's not gonna be an overnight fix, but I know that you can slowly start to get your groove back if we start to employ a little of these each and every day. All right, leave me a DM and let me know what you think about this.